In a courtroom that has seen 38 intense days of testimony, evidence, cross-examinations, and now conviction, today's session was brief, but it was anything but insignificant. We're now in the final stretch of the Joshlin Smith trial. The Western Cape High Court has officially shifted gears from a trial of guilt to a trial of consequence. And if you followed this case, you'd know the sentencing will just be as impactful as the verdict. Today was about timelines, procedures, and critical groundwork for what's to come. But beneath the surface of the seemingly administrative session are deep legal and emotional undercurrents. Why victim impact statements are being taken from the community and not the family. Why an expert from the United States will be roused at 3 a.m. to testify in a South African courtroom, and what lies ahead for state witness Lourentia Lombaard, whose immunity is anything but certain. Let's break this down in full. Not just what happened, but what it means. Before we continue, this is just to inform new viewers, we are approaching the end of our Joshlin Smith trial breakdowns, and while it's a chapter that's taken an emotional toll on South Africans, it's been nothing short of an eye-opening journey. So I personally want to send a thank you to every subscriber who liked, commented, and shared our videos. Once the sentence has been delivered, we will break that down and collate the entire series into an episode of our true crime podcast, Crime Central South Africa, which premieres soon. This podcast will delve deep into the stories that shape the landscape of South African true crime. We'll also be launching Season 2 of Unsolved Murders SA, a podcast series that focuses on unresolved cases in South Africa, particularly those that have gone cold over the years. So let's start with the tension in the room. The court was scheduled to begin on time, but the accused did not arrive when they should have. This prompted immediate frustration from Judge Nathan Erasmus. Why does this matter? In high-profile criminal trials, every procedural step must be tightly controlled. The accused, now convicted, are under the custody of the correctional services. Their movements are the responsibility of the state. When they are late, it disrupts judicial processes and sends the wrong signal that the rules can be bent even at the highest levels of accountability. Judge Erasmus didn't just scold, he ordered that a formal letter be sent to the Commissioner of the Correctional Services demanding an explanation. In a case this serious, involving a child still missing and a mother convicted of trafficking her own daughter, there's no room for complacency. The justice system itself is on trial, and every delay chips at public confidence. This case has not only been tried in Cape Town's high courtrooms, it's also played out in the makeshift court inside the White City Multipurpose Centre in Deersville, Saldanha Bay, the very community where Joshlin lived and disappeared. This wasn't a random logistical move, this was intentional, to bring justice to the heart of the community that has suffered the most. By hearing this case in Saldanha, the court acknowledged that this is more than a legal issue, it's a communal trauma. That's why the court will transfer back to Saldanha for the final week of proceedings starting from the 27th of May with sentencing scheduled for the 29th of May. Here's one of the most powerful moves the state is making. Victim impact statements are being collected, not from Joshlin's immediate family, but from the broader Deersville community. Why? Because the community has become the collective voice for Joshlin. It was Deersville residents who searched, who rallied, who grieved, and who now must live with the horror of what happened under their roofs. These statements, written in Afrikaans and to be translated in court, will speak to the ripple effects of Joshlin's disappearance, the psychological trauma, the disillusionment, the fear. In sentencing, these statements carry serious weight. They give the judge a window into the human cost of the crime, not in abstract legal terms, but in lived experience. The message from the state is clear. Joshlin didn't lose her future. An entire community lost its innocence. The state has enlisted a human trafficking expert from the United States to testify remotely at 3 a.m. his time. This is no ordinary move. South African courts don't call foreign experts lightly. This witness has likely been chosen for his global expertise on trafficking networks, how they operate, how victims are coerced, and how traffickers blend into everyday society. In this case, the state is arguing that what happened to Joshlin wasn't a quote-unquote family incident. It was part of a larger, more sinister ecosystem of exploitation, and the testimony of this expert could be pivotal in demonstrating that trafficking, even at the smaller scale, fits a broader, horrifying pattern. It also signals the seriousness with which the court is viewing these crimes. The state is not content with the procedural victory. They want a meaningful sentence that reflects the systemic nature of what occurred. There's been speculation about why Joshlin's biological father, Josh Amker, her great-grandmother, and her former foster caregiver, Natasha Andrews, are not on the state's list of victim impact witnesses. The reasons haven't been disclosed. It could be logistical, it could be legal, it could be personal, but their absence raises questions about internal dynamics, potential reluctance, or perhaps conflicting narratives. It also raises a strategic question. Has the state chosen to center the community as the primary voice of grief rather than family to avoid entangling the court in side disputes or potentially unreliable testimony? We'll only know if these names surface in the final days. The judge also ordered social worker reports, detailed psychological and social profiles of the convicted. These reports delve into upbringing, education, mental health, substance abuse, prior trauma, and family dynamics. They help the court understand who these individuals were before the crime, not to excuse their actions, but to contextualize them. Both Kelly and Stevino have undergone assessments. Jaquina Polis has not. The reason is unclear, but it could reflect scheduling conflicts or a decision by his legal team to abstain. These reports can affect sentencing outcomes. A background of severe abuse or mental illness might tilt the court toward a lighter sentence, but only if it's credible, and only if the crimes aren't seen as premeditated or cold-blooded. Judge Erasmus also addressed the possibility of appeals. He warned all legal teams that if they intend to challenge the conviction, they should be ready to file for leave to appeal immediately after sentencing. This is standard practice, but in this case, it's notable because of the public interest and the gravity of the charges. If the defense does appeal, it could delay sentencing enforcement, though it does not automatically pause imprisonment unless a higher court intervenes. Finally, the court turned to Lourentia Lombaard, the state's Section 204 witness, the one who flipped. She gave up her co-accused in exchange for potential indemnity, meaning immunity from prosecution if the court deems her testimony truthful and helpful. But today, Judge Erasmus made it clear that indemnity is not automatic. A separate special hearing will be held in Cape Town away from the current accused, where her lawyer will have to formally argue for protection. This is rare, and it suggests the court is uneasy about giving her a free pass. Her role was substantial. Her proximity to the crime was direct, and the judge wants to be sure that giving her immunity won't compromise the integrity of justice. So here's what to expect. Today's court appearance was administrative in nature. It was officially to prepare to transfer the court back to Saldanha Bay. Between the 27th and 28th of May, victim impact testimony, expert evidence, and final legal arguments will be presented in court. And on the 29th of May, sentencing. This is the final phase. Justice for Joshlin won't bring her back, but the sentence will speak on her behalf, for her name, for her innocence, for every child failed by the people meant to protect them. We'll be there every step until the gavel falls. This brings us to the end of our breakdown. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. While we have reached the end of the Joshlin Smith trial breakdowns, we have more content planned, more cases to unpack, and true crime stories to dive into. So believe me when I tell you, subscribing to our channel and turning on those post notifications is absolutely necessary. Also, visit our news website, swisherpost.co.za, for the best explainers on every important event happening around you. No agenda, just the story.